Imagine boarding a plane with your loyal service dog by your side, calm, quiet, just doing his job. But then, out of nowhere, a woman stands up and demands his seat, shouting that he doesn't belong on the plane. What she didn't know was that the captain flying that day was my close friend, and when he heard the chaos, he walked out of the cockpit and turned the entire flight upside down. You won't believe what happened next. You won't believe what happened on my last flight. It still feels like something out of a movie. Picture this, the crowded airport, the sound of rolling suitcases, people rushing to make their gates. I was already nervous because traveling can be stressful for me. But I wasn't alone. At my side, as always, was Max, my golden retriever service dog. Max isn't just any dog. He's been trained for years to help me with my anxiety and medical issues. He senses when I'm about to panic, nudges me to breathe, and stays close so I feel safe. Without him, stepping foot on a plane would be almost impossible. When we boarded, Max calmly trotted beside me, ignoring the noise and chaos. We found our row, and he curled up neatly in the foot space in front of me. He wasn't blocking the aisle, wasn't disturbing anyone. To me, everything felt normal. But it only took seconds for one woman to turn my peaceful flight into a nightmare. Across the aisle, a woman with oversized sunglasses and a designer bag fixed her eyes on Max. She gave me that look, you know, the kind that says, "I'm about to cause a scene." Sure enough, she leaned over and said, "Why does that dog get a seat when I had to pay full price?" Her voice was sharp, dripping with entitlement. I was stunned. Max wasn't even on a seat. He was curled up on the floor where he belonged. I calmly explained, "He's a service dog, ma'am. He's trained and allowed to be here." But that answer didn't satisfy her. "That's disgusting," she snapped. "Animals shouldn't be allowed on planes. I don't care if he's trained. What if he barks, or bites, or sheds all over me? I didn't pay to sit next to a mutt." I felt my face flush with anger, but I tried to stay polite. "He's not bothering you. Please just let us be." Karen wasn't about to let it go. She waved down a flight attendant like she was royalty demanding service. "I want this dog off the plane. Either move me to first class, or make the dog leave. I refuse to sit here." Passengers nearby turned their heads. Some rolled their eyes, a few whispered to each other, and I could feel the tension growing. Max, sensing my rising stress, gently pressed his head against my leg, reminding me to breathe. But Karen wasn't done. She stood up, blocking the aisle, and raised her voice even louder. "This is discrimination. I demand my rights. This dog is taking up space that should belong to paying passengers." The entire cabin went silent. The flight attendant approached with a calm smile, the kind you know comes from dealing with difficult passengers daily. "Ma'am, this is a service animal. He's allowed to be here. He's not in your seat, and he's not disturbing anyone." But Karen threw her hands in the air like she'd just won an argument. "Allowed to be here? This is insane. He's filthy, he smells, and I shouldn't have to deal with this. I want to talk to the captain, now." The attendant tried again, firmer this time. "If you continue disrupting boarding, we may have to ask you to deplane." Karen gasped dramatically. "Me? You'd kick me off instead of that dog? Do you know who I am?" Passengers chuckled under their breath. Someone muttered, "Here we go again." Phones started coming out. People were recording, waiting to see what would happen. My chest tightened. I hated being the center of attention, but Max pressed his paw against my foot, steady and grounding. He was calm, even if I wasn't. The attendant leaned closer to Karen. "Ma'am, please take your seat, or we cannot proceed." Karen smirked. "Fine. Call the captain. Let's see what he has to say about this." And that's when the twist came. What Karen didn't realize was that the captain of this very flight was my longtime friend, Jason. We grew up together, and he'd known Max since I first started training him. When the crew informed him about the situation, he decided to step in personally before things escalated further. Jason stepped out of the cockpit in his crisp uniform, looking every bit the authority figure. The passengers went quiet as he walked down the aisle. "What seems to be the issue here?" he asked calmly. Karen practically jumped out of her seat, pointing at Max. "Captain! Thank goodness! This dog is taking up space." I demand it be removed or that I moved to first class. This is a health hazard. Jason looked down at Max, who sat perfectly still, tail wagging softly. Then he looked at me and gave a quick nod of reassurance before turning back to Karen. "Ma'am," he said firmly, "this is a service dog. He's trained, certified, and completely within his rights to be here. He's not in your seat, and he's not causing any disturbance. The only disruption I see right now is coming from you." Karen's jaw dropped. "What? You can't talk to me like that. I'm a paying customer." Jason didn't blink. "And so is every other passenger here, including this handler. You are endangering the safety and comfort of this flight with your behavior. You have two choices: sit down quietly and respect the rules, or you will be removed from this aircraft." The cabin buzzed with whispers. A few people clapped quietly. Someone in the back shouted, "Tell her, Captain." Karen's face turned red. "This is outrageous. You'll regret this," she shrieked. Jason's voice didn't waver. "Security will meet you at the gate if you don't sit down right now." Instead of complying, Karen crossed her arms, muttering insults about the airline and passengers around her. That was enough. Jason gave the signal, and within minutes, airport security boarded the plane. The moment they escorted Karen off, still yelling, still demanding respect, the entire cabin erupted into applause. Some even cheered. As the cabin settled, the flight attendants checked on me. "Are you all right?" one of them asked gently. I smiled, though my heart was still pounding. "I'm fine. Thank you for standing up for us." Max stretched out again, resting his head on my foot as if nothing had happened. He had done his job, keeping me calm through the storm. The rest of the flight was smooth, quiet, even peaceful. With Karen gone, the atmosphere felt lighter, almost cheerful. People smiled at Max as they walked by. A few even whispered kind words about how well-behaved he was. As we soared through the clouds, I realized something important. People like Karen will always exist. They shout, they demand, and they try to bully others into giving them what they want. But sometimes, they meet their match, someone who won't bend to their selfishness. That day, Karen learned the hard way that service dogs aren't just pets. They're guardians, lifelines, and loyal companions who deserve respect. And thanks to my pilot friend, she also learned that no amount of entitlement gives anyone the right to trample over the dignity of others. When we landed, Jason gave me a quick wave from the cockpit. I knew then that this flight, though stressful, had taught me something. Always stand tall, even when people try to push you down. And never forget the quiet heroes at our feet, the ones with paws, loyalty, and hearts of gold. As for Karen, who knows if she ever caught another flight. But I'll tell you one thing. My journey that day was unforgettable, and it ended with the smoothest, most peaceful landing of my life. And that's how one entitled passenger ended up getting kicked off the plane while my service dog and I traveled in peace. Remember, service dogs aren't just pets, they're lifesavers. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more unbelievable real-life dramas, and share this video with a friend who loves a good twist ending. Until next time, stay kind, and never underestimate the power of loyalty on 4 paws.